Like a few minutes ago?
Before I went to bed earlier, when it was getting ready to launch off and you were telling me about it.
Uh-huh.
Remember? And I was like, yes, I'm watching it right now. And I went in and got my laptop. Remember that? And the guy was watching it. And you go, do you remember?
Uh-huh.
You're like, it looks like he's looking in my soul.
Uh-huh. And then he ate the strawberry.
He ate a bite of strawberry. We were all laughing about that in class. That was funny. Are you hungry?
Maybe a little.
Or even more than Saudi Arabia's production. So
Maybe just an
it
egg
sounds
sandwich or
good,
something
but the
simple
problem
like
is
that.
that there's still a shortage.
Do an
And
egg
while that's
sandwich.
kind of scrounging
Yeah.
up a little bit of oil to be able to try and
Do you want,
fix
if
the
you want something
situation,
else, I can make
it's not
something
really
else.
fixing
No,
it much at
I'm
all
fine
because it's not
with
completely
anything.
replacing the Middle East's oil production barrel
What
by
is?
barrel.
What's the
So
matter?
big thanks to you for
What?
supporting Help with the Challenge for
Stop.
running, but the honest truth
Oh
is
yeah, I
that
forgot. You didn't get much
help
sleep
out a
last
little
night.
bit,
That's why I thought for
prices
sure
shall
you would have been in
rise
bed earlier.
quite heavily if this
Nah.
continues for months.
You did actually
And it's
try,
not gonna
remember? And you couldn't sleep.
replace the Middle East
That's
oil.
weird
The
because
Middle
you
East
didn't get
will
much sleep the
pointless
night
in
before.
global energy logistics. But a big thanks to you for
I
supporting
just
Help
want
with
an
the
egg
Challenge for
sandwich.
running. And with that, we're on to the next one.
Yeah.
We
Thanks.
have a $33 support from Hal Rose, and thank you, Hal, as well, for that generous supporter. He said, "Hello there, this is Hal. You know me by my 333 call sign. I had a computer failure and made my dog, Zeke, administrator of my new computers, Microsoft and Google are upset. He has no birth certificate, no social number, no verification." And I gotta say, that dog getting around and so put me on there. I gotta say, a big thanks to you for supporting. And I gotta say, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, putting the dog as an administrator on a computer, that's not a bad idea. Dog's your dad's best friend. You can always trust a dog.
I got
That's what I always like to say. I used to put our corgis on the computers and have them
got
for
you
time to talk Bitcoin farming and all. Humongous thanks to you for the support. And I gotta say, that's a pretty good one, Hal Rose. A big thanks to you for support. And I'm guessing that's an April Fool's. This is actually a pretty good one. And so, a humongous thanks to you so much once again. I hope that does address that incredibly well. And with that, we are on into the next one.
Now won't let
We also have a
go.
20 from Aurora
I
983.
got
Thank you,
you
Virtual as well, for that
to
$20
love
support.
me
And they said, cheers. And is this weekend go time for COD, uranium ops, and LSA? I mean, maybe. I mean, it might be.
What's that?
But I
Oh,
have a feeling that
what from my wines? I can't do that right now. I'll try.
So they'll probably leave some
No.
from now because I have a feeling they're going to be
Hold on.
sitting around and
Oh,
waiting.
do re mi fa
One day and say he wants to do it, and the next day he's going to say not.
do re mi fa. I can't do it if you're gonna do that. Stop it. His it goes to the noise.
And also, someone just showed us something in the chat, and I cannot believe this.
Do
Kill, harass, or catch any
Hold on, I gotta clear my throat.
rattlesnake in Utah.
Do re mi fa sol la ti do re mi fa sol la ti. No, I didn't hit it. Hold on. No, I see on the Richter scale there. We're trying to hit that one right there. Hold on. You gotta. It has to be exact. It's finely tuned. Hold on. Do. Do re mi fa sol la ti do.
Oh, look, a rattlesnake. Hey, stop reaching. Stop reaching. That's what I'm good. Was the rattlesnake have immunity or something like that? It's like the rattlesnake whips out some
A deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun.
The snake sits there. The snake starts looking worried when it sees you. He turns around.
I got you to love me so. I got you. I won't let go.
It's like, what's he gonna do? I don't.
I got you to love me so. Stop.
You can't take out.
I can't do it right now. Sorry. That was good enough.
I have a feeling that it's on the books because rattlesnakes. Oh yeah. So apparently people. I just saw this article. Apparently people were wiping out rattlesnakes here in Utah, like they were trying to make them extinct. So in 1989 they made that a law to where you couldn't
Cause
kill them
every
anymore because they
time
were
I
an
look
endangered species
into
in the state at that
your
point.
love me
that might be wise, actually. Even though I hate rattlesnakes, they are important for the ecosystem, like the food chain and stuff like that. Like you start, wiping out like all the rattlesnakes, then you might start having a problem with your other animals like getting out of control, not being kept in population check. But Alabama's not like that though. Alabama's like
Roy Orbison. Bonnie Raitt sang that too, yes. You're right. Was it Bonnie Raitt? Yes. Cause every time I look into you. You sure it wasn't Melissa Etheridge? Come to my window, crawl inside, way by the light of the moon. Knock it off. Because it's off a little bit. Can you see? Yeah, it's like, it's sleepies in my throat. You get sleepies in your eyes. Hold on. Because we're trying to hit a certain note. Not that it sounds good or anything. We're just trying to hit a certain note on the Richter scale. Hold on. Come to my window. Crawl inside. Wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window. 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 The record's stuck. Window. Window. Thank God for the mute button, huh? I sure hope so. Any suggestions as to how we can do that without breaking the law? Because we know these cases all too well. That's why we can be so patient. Yeah, it's not easy. I can't even begin to tell you the pain and turmoil. For real. Yeah, no, we actually have to disassociate. And because we work with so many good people and have been desensitized and tolerated. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make an egg sandwich. What are you doing? Put your hands up high. Put your hands up high. Put your hands up high. Just put your hands up high. Put your hands up high. Put your hands up high.
But a huge thanks to you for the support of the show and keep it running. Because if it wasn't for folks like you, we wouldn't be able to make this channel possible and we wouldn't be able to keep this thing running. So a huge thanks to you so much once again. And with that, we are on to the next one.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And our next one goes to Bad Skipper, who puts in the 20. Thanks so much, Bad Skipper, for that
After
$20.
tone.
And it said first,
It's 1, 2, 3, 5
in San
now.
Diego. And it said Electric Revolution. Electric? We're gonna rock down to the electric avenue. And unfortunately, I just don't know a lot about that. But I do thank you for the support from the channel to keep it running. I hope that is a fun time, whatever that electric revolution may be. And so, a huge thanks to you for the support. Wait a second, is that electric bobcats? Is that what he's talking about? He said electric revolution. I'm seeing like a company that makes like electric bobcats and stuff like that.
Passing the Social Security Fairness.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like electric equipment. You know, honestly, like, I'm not against electric equipment or electric stuff, but it seems like when you're, like, in an industry, like, the last thing you want to do is worry about charging something. Like, you just need to put more gas in it because you gotta do that to make a living. So it seems like they'd want to just probably stick with gas. But, I mean, depending on the battery power, I guess it could work. I suppose that we could see it work, but I mean, then again, the electric motors are torqued out for the larger part, compared to internal combustion engines. But I mean, a lot of industrial applications, you really can see that come into play. So, I guess so did he. Whatever they said. But a big thanks to you for supporting helping this channel keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one. We also have a 20 from Game Theory. Thank you, Game Theory, for that $20 support. They said, Matt, why did you not go on to a Washington, D.C. lobby firm after college? And you have a good analysis, and along with Tour Pro Andrew. And also, thank you, by the way, for the kind words. The reason, typically, like, you don't go straight to a lobby firm, like, after you leave college. Like, to be a lobbyist, basically, a lobbyist is code word for somebody with really good connections. They're able to convince people that are in positions of power. So, they're basically access. They're people with access to people that other people need access to, basically. So, coming straight out of college, most college kids aren't going to have connections like that. Also, they're not going to have the leverage to be a good lobbyist. So, you generally have to sort of hang out around D.C. for a while, sometimes work for some companies that have some pull, and then occasionally you might build up enough, stamina, I guess reputation to be a lobbyist for the most part. So, also, by the way, I will admit this, lobbyists don't have the best reputation because these days, people are very, very hard or very sick of the whole lobby in America because it seems like lobbyists are getting more influence than the normal everyday people for the most part. I do appreciate the compliment though, but that's generally why I do not. But enforcer, let's say you.
Why do we look like you? Some guy who wrote a book called Hillbilly Elegy that then went to Yale? That'd be ridiculous. Like, imagine that. Some guy growing up in some town claiming that he's from some, bottom of the rung family, that's basically like the rest of it is just middling and getting by. And then they go into the Marines for like 4 years and then they end up at Yale. Like, that would be like an unrealistic story. That's like a fairy tale, basically. We didn't have that kind of luck at all. And that's why we would probably never be able to become lobbyists. And, that's why we also have to do that going out of college, like Matthew was saying. And also, I'd have to say, I don't really know if I'd be a big fan of being a lobbyist. Because what if I don't really like what I'm having to lobby for, Like, if I'm lobbying for, say, the war industry somehow, what if the war industry really doesn't have the answer to the problem that we're facing right now? At that point, I'm just going around going, excuse me, Mr. Congressman, can you put some more funding in to make more bombs? It's like, the United States doesn't need more bombs at that point, And then I'm having to still go around and hawk bombs or, hawk something else. And that's generally what I don't really like about lobbying is that lobbying really isn't done in the best interest of the citizenry. It's done in the best interest of an interest group, of whatever group that may be. And, their interest may not be in the public's interest at that specific moment in time, like it was maybe a couple of years before that or a couple of years after. But big thanks to you for supporting. And also, thank you for the kind words. And with that, we are on to the next one.
Alright, so our next one here is going to go to Jenna, last name Toolshed. Thank you very much for the $20 support. They said, I hope we make it to Uranus by 2016.
Well, I tell you what, some people have already made it. but anyways, big thanks to you for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. Because I've heard folks, there's some people out there that really, really been putting an asset to the works. Some people have been hearing that some people have made it to the Uranus I think it's like Christus Columbus, already. And that's a hell of an advance in space exploration right there. That's a lot of road going there, kind of like flying down the side of a cliff. But anyways, so that a big thanks to your support. Help this channel keep on running. And with that, we're on to the next one.
Also have a 20 from Aurora 93. Thank you very much, Aurora, for that 20 as well. He said, so apparently dogs were the first in space before humans. Check out the Soviet space stuff. And it's true. They did send the dogs. They sent the dogs. And I think we sent a chimpanzee at one point as well. What was the name of that thing? Spot. It wasn't Spot. It was
Ham?
Ham, the chimpanzee. That was the one that we sent right there. So yeah.
Oh, this little baby?
There he is.
My biz.
They really did him wrong.
Man, they honestly did. But they did a Leica even worse. They just let that dog die. But beyond that, though, if y'all don't know this is a funny story. Right when Leica was Leica wasn't the actual dog that was supposed to go. They actually had a dog that they had trained a lot for this mission. And they left the dog door open to the kennel that it was in, and it just ran away. So then all the Soviet scientists like, What do we do? And they just saw this stray dog, which happened to be Laika, and they just snatched it up off the street and threw it in the capsule and sent it up. It survived, for a while enough to prove that the animal could survive up there. But it died before it came back down because they got to it on the capsule, so it just died. So that's kind of the story behind Laika, unfortunate one. But still, proved that living things could go to space and survive to some extent. We did it with a chimp, and we made sure that the chimp survived because that'd kind of be stupid to have the test subject die up there. Because it's like, what if the human dies on re-entry and that was just like a guarantee at that point? We don't know. It's like we don't have a clue at that point in time historically. So having your test subject die before it even re-enters the atmosphere and survives the entire voyage is kind of a stupid idea. But once again, the Soviets don't really put a lot, or the modern Russians don't really put a lot into thinking like that. So they just kind of wink. But anyways, a big thanks to you for supporting this channel, keep it running. And with that, we are on to the next one.
In our next one here is going to go to Sedona Hosoda, who just put in a $50 support, and thank you for Sedona for that very generous support right there. They left a super sticker, no comment, but the super sticker shows the YouTube creature riding a ballistic out into the distance. But enforcers will say you.
And I gotta thank you massively for the support. Help the channel keep on running Sedona Hosoda. Welcome for folks like you. We will be able to be here right now. So tremendous thanks to you so much once again for the support, help this channel to keep on running. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And we also have another 20 from Fred Freeman. Thank you, Fred, for that support. He said higher oil prices are great for the USA. And honestly, it's brilliant not taking the straight. Why bother? It doesn't benefit the USA. It's really not our problem. We can sell arms, but let Europe and the Middle East fight the battles. But the problem is, Fred, the higher prices for the oil really doesn't help us. It may help the oil executives. It may help line their pockets, but it doesn't help the average 330 million Americans in the country because I'm paying currently double my normal gasoline bill right now because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So it's not doing normal people any good. The Strait, it's going to affect global economy. So when the global economy starts having a problem, it affects every single country on the planet for the most part. So we're already seeing it, like in South Korea's stock market is having another major dive today. We're seeing fuel shortages all over Romania, all over Asian countries. It's causing a major effect. And they've known this for decades, by the way. This isn't something new. This is something that's been around for a very long time. So it's going to wreck the global economy. So it's really not good for anybody. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would generally have to agree with that. Higher oil prices really doesn't benefit anyone in the United States unless you're a shareholder and a significant one at that of an oil company here in the United States, and you're able to make dividends off of the increased earnings of those oil companies. And I would wager that you're not an executive of an oil company, and I know I'm sure as hell not an executive or a shareholder of a major oil company. So I don't see any benefit at all from rising oil prices here in the United States on my end. And just speaking for myself, which that's really all I can do, being a citizen of the Republic, if I'm not seeing a benefit, I'm not really afraid. I'm not one when it comes to money that goes, oh, well, that's great that the oil executives are raking in billions while I'm out to lose my shirt because everything's going to be becoming more expensive on every single end. Because I'm not really that benevolent with my money, when it comes to other, the whole country and people like me getting screwed over for the few that run and own these oil companies. It's not really something that seems to me to be well in the interest of the United States, because it's not in the interest of me and people like me, and there's a lot more people like me than there are oil executives. Also, it does benefit the United States because oil is traded globally, so that means that if it is, traded globally and there's less of it in the world now than there was a month ago, the price is going to rise, and also that means that there's going to be material shortages of oil in most of the world, which doesn't really benefit us either.
Oh, yeah.
So I generally have to say, once again, I don't really see any benefit in all in the United States of America, or for anyone else in the Western Sphere, that the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And I also got to say that the premise of the United States starting a war that then leads to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz because of our own actions really isn't anyone else's problem but our own. I think that's a very like, just to be entirely honest with how the administration is going about it, it's a very spoiled and childish way of going about things because it basically makes it clear that if they make a mistake, that's not their problem to own and try and fix. That then becomes everyone else's problem. And what does that say about their larger philosophy and thinking? I mean, honestly, it's like, what does that say about their entire leadership and decision-making process in general? It shows if it benefits me, then I'm fine with it. But if it doesn't look good, it doesn't benefit me, it doesn't look good for my end, I'm fine with lobbing that off on whoever else that is in me and making their problem. And I'm not really one for that kind of principle. We started the war. That's why the strait is closed. It's our problem to reopen the strait. I don't know how that's everyone else's problem, because also, if the Strait of Hormuz was Iran's problem and it was the Arabians' problem, why in the world were we the one to start the war against Iran if nothing really counts for us over there at all, and it's all for naught? Why the hell did we even start this war for that to happen in the first place? That doesn't make any sense at all. That's just basically saying at that point we bombed them for the hell of it, and there isn't really any larger strategic picture or any benefit to our sphere or ourselves nationally. We just bombed them for the hell of it, and all the fallout from that is now everyone else's problem. And that's something I generally can't agree with. If I make a mistake, I own up to it and I just accept that it's my mistake and I fix it, or I try and make it right. I never sit there and make a mistake and then have what the president has, a narcissistic way of thinking to where I can never be wrong, and if I am wrong, I'm not wrong. It's everyone else's problem now, and they've got to fix it. And that's just not really a way that, one, you run a nation, and two, the way I run my personal life. Personally, I'd have to say that's our problem. We broke it, you buy it. We broke the strait, but you have to buy the strait now, and we have to fix it somehow because we're the reason why it's that way. So a big thanks to you for support, and with that, we're on to the next one.
We also have a $50 support that just came in from Jenna, last name Toolshed. Once again, thank you very much, Jenna, for that support, and also helping to get the channel running once again. They said, right now, the U.S. is in somewhat of a denial phase of the war, and if you're not going to help after I tear up to you and find out, then I'm just going to leave the mess to you. And right now, they're acting very petulant, like a baby.
Oh, yeah. To answer that question, yeah, some people ask those questions. So if that's true, again, why wouldn't they do anything? And if that were true, be on the news. And if that were true, the police would do something. And if that were true, and if that were true, that's the point. Right, so we showed you back 2011 when they tried setting up some of our police officers. They were whispering in our ear that our son, who we did not vaccinate, that we just made an egg sandwich for, was going to be a serial killer and kill us. Yeah, he was just a toddler at the time. He was born in 2009. So this was about 2011. After the suicide of the private investigator, after their dad ran away spooked. And when you look at some of the other things going on at the time, message in a bottle, Mr. Green, yeah, he took off to Cali. That's the cousin of the father of my oldest two, the one I just made an egg sandwich for. Yeah, his biological father, that's his cousin, Mr. Green, who took off to Cali. He was doing his music video here at the time. I know, right? I was like, what an idiot, too. He pissed my mother off. She didn't really care. She was just that little shit. Oh, because he was like telling some of the people he was with that he could get this place for free and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, right. And when, those people were involved with some of the robberies back in Waterville, back in the late 90s. Yeah, like hotels being robbed, girls pretending to be tied up while they emptied the safe. Right, and so they knew a lot of those guys were messing around. Yeah, his dad was involved with that stuff. Charlie Bellows. I think he's dead now, yeah. Poor guy. Every time he saw the guy, he was always in rehab. He was like, going into rehab. Again? Weren't you going in rehab last year? Good luck this time. Is this voluntary or mandated? What's that? Yeah, no, look it up. I think he got stabbed to death in Waterville a few years ago over somebody playing their music too loud. Yeah. Yeah, so that had always pissed off the cops. Yeah, back in the early 2000s, you know, just having conversations with people. I mean, at least it gave them the solace that they knew exactly what happened, and doesn't mean they can make any arrests. Just even right, they can admit to it. Like, yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, they still can't arrest them for it. Right, I mean, because they had skipped state, and years had gone by, case was closed. I mean, even if they admitted to it, you could admit to a murder. They can't put you in jail for it unless they can prove it. I was the second gunman on the grassy knoll. Yeah, we've made jokes about that for years. Yeah, and some of the idiots connected to these same groups and loops we're talking about, you know, they'd come at us with the frickin' Kennedy investigations in the 90s. We're fucking kids dealing with child molesters and fucking nasty drug traffickers and abusive people, getting pushed down the stairs by ghosts. And they want to ask us questions about who killed Kennedy. It got to the point where it was so stupid. Because these people get a lot of money to write the books. They get funding for certain subjects. Right, and sometimes the investigators that are doing the drug investigations just pretend they're writing a book. I know, it gets so fucking old and stupid, folks, really. Grow the fuck up. Shut your fucking face. No, they're gonna carry on doing that stuff. We don't care. We do it too. You gotta pretend sometimes, you know? Just put on an outfit. Yeah, I belong here. Look. Look, I'm drinking a Coke, okay? I know, right? It's like, wow, dude, wow. You try to talk sense into people, and then you stop doing that, yeah. Some people don't need to. No, they have enough money and they live in worlds where they don't have to deal with the general public or people fucking their kids. Oh, did they influence them to wear a pink shirt? I know, right? They threw rocks at your window. No shit. Did they shoot at your house? No way. I know, right? And we're dealing with fucking sickos that literally love to kill. They love to fucking kill people. Yeah, you have these necrophilic sick fucks. Hey, Pelosi. Right. I mean, you can know the facts all day long, see it with your own fucking eyes. You can't prove it in court. Good to know, though. Good to know. Yeah, well, it's your word. Who's gonna believe a fucking loser like you? Your parents don't even think you're sane. They think you're crazy, too. Oh, the fucking ghost-believing drug traffickers? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, people. Wake the fuck up. I know, enough's enough already, right? America. 'Cause I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless. God bless your dog's asshole. Kiss it. Give it a kiss. And put some powder on it. Cute.
We also have a $10 support from Pookie, and thank you very much, Pookie, for that tip. And they said, here's for a rotisserie chicken from Costco, from the Strait of Hormuz and LSA. And LSA,
'Cause I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't shut your
To the
face.
entire world on the situation with Iran. This is something that the Australian Prime Minister just did, that the Well, today's a big day. It's a day that we've pretty much been anticipating for quite some time. President Trump provides a massive update to not just the United States and its citizens, but to the entire world on the situation with Iran. This is something that the Australian Prime Minister just did, that the UK Prime Minister just did. Who cares about those guys? All that the world really cares about, whether people love them, whether people hate them, is what President Trump has to say about the conflict. And that's what we're getting into just straight off the press. It just happened. All I ask in return is for you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it.
What's that? Pelosi, what? No, I didn't see that. Tell me about it.
I don't do April Fool's Day. I don't understand it. I think it's weird. Everyone knows you're lying. But, here's what I'm not kidding about. All right, Gavin Newsom and his auntie, Nancy Pelosi, are both in the news today because of some bad ideas that they have polluted our planet with. It is a disgrace. And there's a lot more news, all right, from Congress to the Supreme Court and President Trump. And we have a lot to talk about. All right, so welcome back to the Adam C. Renner Show. If conversations like this matter, like, subscribe, and let's dive right in.
So someone in class, high retired officer, said they noticed that, back when Harris and the fucking idiots saying defund the police, right, when a lot of us know, too, the connections that a lot of them have with the crooked cops over the years, connected to those fundraising companies that raise money for firefighters and police, right, when that shit's getting uncovered, back in 2001, a lot of that was getting uprooted, and the police a lot of them were trying to say they didn't want body cams, and then you had more of a percentage that were like, yeah, we do, right, duh, why wouldn't we? We can do that, like, we have the capability of having these, like, GoPro cameras, and it'll document everything. Right. So some were okay with that and some were not. Some were like, how are we going to do actual policing then? Right? What training programs have you done? Come see our training programs. We'll show you how it's done. No, just one finger, man. Just one finger. Hold on. Right. So anyways, I really hope that the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do to help these children. But yeah, retired officers recognizing that the idiots that were saying to defund the police are the ones that have been working with the crooked. Yeah, like doing the really bad stuff, drug trafficking, killing innocent people. Yeah, and then when there are good forces that know there are those kind of networks and they really only get rid of the really bad people, just the druggies wind up in the ditch or being fed to the pigs. It's okay, just the druggies. Well, I know when you start to look into it and you see, these are kids, a lot of them, they're runaways. Yeah, and the sick fucking adults that are okay with that stuff, that make a business out of it. Yeah, these like sick fucking brothel leaders, pimp daddies. They love the runaway kids that have nowhere to go, that hate their parents, that have a warrant. So when we went to work for those programs and for those companies and for those fundraising, we were also working at Burger King too, yeah? Right, and then if you look back, you'll see how when we were with Burger King, it was over a 2-year stretch there. Yeah, we'd be there for 6 months. Then gone for 3 to 5 months, back for 6 months. Right, you can check it. Right, so we were also working with Apex Marketing in Litchfield. Also, LL Bean. Who else were we working with? Smokey's Carnival. I'm pretty sure, too, all of those places have been shut down, right? Even the call center for LL Bean in Waterville that we were working at. Yeah, it was just one of the call centers. It was probably best that they moved. I know they used to have a wall there, and every time a celebrity would call, they'd put it up on the wall. Oh, We got one from the Maury Povich show one time. I know, and you'd always have to pass those off to the higher ups. Like, we got someone celebrity level. Gonna give it to a cool person. I can't take the order. Right, well, you know, those people want to make sure that not just some new hire is placing their order. They want to make sure it's going to get done right. Well, what about all the other customers? They're not as special as you. Shh, shh. Hold on. I don't remember the Maury Povich show called, and they wanted to order sweaters for the audience. It's like, yeah, hold on. Line 3. Right? But yeah, they're noticing how a lot of those stick fucks that were saying to defund the police were the ones doing a lot of the crooked shit, and because their crimes were being exposed, they get mad, and then they get people right on board. They had even some of the cops on board. Remember the one from, where was that? I can't remember where it was, Illinois somewhere. One of the frickin' police chiefs wrote the word nigger, put it on his desk, and quit. That was around the time, what's his name, got beat up and killed in the street or suffocated by the other security guard. And then when you look at kind of the personal stuff going on with those kind of things, it's really sad how a lot of the hoopla and noise, it's just dumb, whether you think someone deserved it or not. Right, and I mean, it makes a lot of money too for somebody. Not those most afflicted. Yeah, the real victims usually don't get the money made off of those things. Other people jump in on something that's popular, a hot story or topic, and profit from it. And the real victims suffer. And then other fucking scroungers come around seeing, is there any kind of popularity to this situation or person that we can grab a hold of? Yeah, it gets pretty bad, dude. We've been doing this our whole lives. It's what we fucking do. And we're going to keep speaking out until the proper authorities start reporting on these things and help our children in the hands of sick fucking pedophiles right here. Do you understand? Yeah, to you fucking cunts, I'd pack your shit and get the fuck out of here. I'd sell your businesses too. Leave. You're not welcome here with the fraud and abuse you've been doing and ignoring these children being fucked and tortured and laughing in the face of good people who serve and protect. You're getting innocent people killed. Believe me when I say you're not welcome here. That's okay. I know people say, well, you're not either, and you go. And you can go find a new place. Whether we're in fucking China or dead, this truth is going to keep coming at you fucking cunts and slugs and pieces of shit. I'd wake the fuck up and help those kids if I were you. Nothing personal. But yeah, they noticed that a lot of the people who were saying that, yeah, defund, are involved, the ones involved with the worst fraud. And then the good people are the ones that are getting all the noise and the heat from the bullshit they're saying. Fuck the police. Fear the police. And then good people are dealing, just because they're wearing a uniform, are dealing with all this fear and hate that these motherfuckers are perpetuating towards them. They do this to individuals. They do it to occupations. It's pretty bad. For what reason? Just to make noise, dude. It's like when you try to expose 1 or 2 abortion clinics doing really sick shit connected to the same fucking networks. And then they get them all going. And you see these groups of people in the street that have no fucking clue or anything to do with any of the other crimes or even know about it. And they're just walking up the street with a fucking hot dog or a vagina on their head, getting their kids to fucking wear bloody pants and stand in front of an abortion clinic. And then some fucking psycho almost runs them over. I know, right? People are insane and need to wake the fuck up and help those kids is what they need to do.
Writes this horrendous tweet this
yes,
morning.
hey Adam, what's up?
Reviewed some meltdown. Your study finds California's fast food minimum wage increases, and it does 3 things. 1, significantly increased worker pay. 2, led to modest price increases, 6 cents on $4 item, and 3, did not reduce employment in the fast food sector.
What are you doing?
Really, Gavin? You know, let's just jump right in because I respect your time way too much to make you think that
You
Gavin
look
Newsom
lost.
actually did something. But
What
not
is?
only
Are
did
you
he
okay?
get
Are you half
demoted
asleep?
because
Just
he's
making sure you're not sleepwalking now.
I had to go to the bathroom. But I thought
Are your
I
eyes
seriously
open?
thought it was like 5 o'clock. It's
It
only
looks like
freaking what?
It looks like your eyes were closed, and I thought you were sleepwalking for a second.
I wouldn't know I was gonna have a cup of coffee, and I said no. It's only 1 o'clock.
Oh, Robbie couldn't sleep either. It must be the moon. Full moon. I'm feeling so plump this morning.
Plump?
Plump and pulsing, as they say. Yeah, no, Robbie can't sleep either. He wanted an egg sandwich.
That's what I smell. It smells good.
You want one?
No.
Everybody love. Everybody tells me so. Everybody love. No. Say you don't need no. Oh my gosh, too
magazine,
funny.
which takes us a bit further. Check this out.
After the bill passed, Assemblymember Chris Holden said,
The rest of the country is watching what's happening in California.
and yeah, that's an understatement. 1 year after implementing the so-called FAST Act, we are finally seeing its effects, and they are
This town ain't big enough for What's that?
AI music is now on our list. Now you can make any song with every video. Iterate the songs you like to fit your video just right. But no music.
are exactly what you would expect. Rubio's Coastal Grill closed 48 locations across the state, Mom Pizza closed 5, and Pizza Hut laid off all 1,200 delivery drivers. In total, fast food employment decreased by 2.7%, which cost California 18,000 jobs. How much do you make per hour? After being fired, restaurants replaced employees with digital kiosks, and those who did keep their jobs saw their hours decrease by almost 2 months per year. AB 1228 is such a disaster, even CNN admits it's debatable job numbers. At the same time as Gavin Newsom's
National use solely rule and then an entirely very stolen to so they're on or just
Someone has to, I guess.
Communication, all of that. But in addition to that, we have to be on guard as to what they may try to do to the technology. They may try to creep into the technology and
We're trying to educate people as to what your administration